the offseason has been more eventful than a good chunk of the regular season was for the Phoenix Suns, Wolf. And we have a friend of the show, Bobby Marks, ESPN NBA front office insider, a guy that I always liked talking to, especially with all the stuff going on with the Suns now, trying to balance out this roster. Bobby, thank you so much for the time. How are you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are we doing?
We're good.
Doing well, Bobby.
Trying to figure out what the Suns can realistically do here as far as Bradley Beal. From your perspective on this, how urgent is it that they move off that contract, or are they better off just keeping him and not playing him or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, if I was in the Suns front office, I think there's more of a sense of urgency, not really like who is going to be there to sign once you create all this flexibility, but just a matter of what the doors open as far as from a flexibility standpoint, from, trades, from, your pick becoming that potentially could be frozen again this year. You don't have the danger of that again. It would start the clock as far as for your pick that's frozen already to become unfrozen. So I do think there's a priority as far as to get some resolution in the next week as far as what happens with Bradley. As far as, it's a big number. You guys know. I don't know if you want 54 and 58 sitting on your books, but on the other end, you can make the argument: do we want 20? Do we want $20 million on for the next 5 years and everything? So it's something I think both sides will work through. I would be stunned if he's on the roster when training camp starts. I would be surprised with that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised as well. Bobby, when you look at what the Phoenix Suns have done, is there a move out there that is a surprise to you? What is the biggest surprise to you that the Phoenix Suns have done so far?
Well, I mean, I love what they did in the draft. I really do. I mean, I thought they did a really good job as far as just kind of maneuvering. And I know, getting that pick from Houston in a Durant trade. And then, I'm a big fan of Maluach. I mean, just as a person, and I think he could be a really good player. And I like what they did in the second round, where they basically started at 52 and 59 and then wound up at 31. And Rasheer Fleming, I think, could be a really nice player. And Kobe Bray, another player, one of the better shooters in this draft. So you've got an infusion of younger players, and then you add those three with Ryan and Oso, and all of a sudden you're starting to see like what was an older team start all of a sudden to get younger here. And Jaylen too. I mean, when you add Jaylen Green into that equation also.
We're talking to Bobby Marks. Yeah, Jaylen Green is who I was going to ask you about next. Just where you come out on him. I mean, he's still only 23. He was the number 2 overall pick back in 2021. The athleticism is unquestioned. But
yeah,
I guess, Bobby, where do you think his game needs to evolve, and can it evolve in a backcourt with the pieces the Suns already have?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was his first 2 years. I think it was really uneven in Houston with him and Kevin Porter Jr. and things kind of went off track there. And there was the flashes of him being really good, and then there was the inconsistencies of whether it be turning the ball. There was a lot of things there. And I think when Ime came in, Udoka, there was some structure, right? There's accountability. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And I know Jordan Knott's a good coach and everything, but he's a rookie coach, and it's the accountability part. If it won't work in Phoenix if you're not holding him accountable and you're trying to tighten up some things here, because you have seen the really good moments for him, whether it be in a couple of those playoff games or whether during the course of the season. I thought he had a really good year last year, and you're right. He's 23, 24 years old. You don't give up on players like that when they have that type of potential.
Bobby, Khaman Maluach is 18 years old, man. It just blows my mind. Bobby, what should be the expectation for a kid who's 18 years old?
I think he's going to play, and he's not a project. That's the beauty of it. I mean, defensively, I think he can be really high level. He's a rim protector. He doesn't block as many shots as you probably would see in the stat line. I think he can impact the game. I think him playing at Duke last year at a high level certainly helps. Offensively, when we were in Chicago for the pre-draft camp, everybody sits in the stands and stuff, and I was like, you know what, let me go down on the floor and see how I want to watch these guys shoot and stuff. I just stood next to him while he shot from the perimeter, and his shot's not broken. I think it's just got to be repetition and confidence. He is. I said this on the night of the draft, and because one of the things I get to do is work with these prospects when they're preparing the interview, and I've been fortunate to do a lot of players, and Tyrese Halliburton was always my favorite. But I said, Maluach is like he's right up there, man. Just as a person, right? Just like as the person, as who he is, where he's from. Goodness gracious, his grandparents are like 7'6" and 7'3". So there's some genetics there. But the biggest thing, and I said this, I said this Wednesday night of the draft, and I said, what's the one thing, like your wow moment, or what intimidated you from playing, Team USA in the Olympics? And he was like, no, there wasn't. It was really like, God, I hadn't seen my mom in 2 years, and I see her walking down the stairs, and I was like, that was the thing that kind of intimidated him the most and everything like that. But I just think he's a special person, and I think he'll do really good things in Phoenix.
We're talking to Bobby Marks. Bobby, with the pieces the Suns have added, and obviously it's going to be a bit of a process here, especially in the Western Conference, but when you look at the roster, even with the best case scenarios with all these guys, what do you think the next sort of piece they need to add is, whether it's this summer or a year from now?
Yeah, it's I think you probably want to get I would think probably more consistency. We feel like we're always searching for a point guard, right? I think it didn't work out with Tyus. Now let's say if Bradley's not there, you've got Devin and you've got Jaylen. So you would love to get another facilitator in there. A lot of what they're probably going to need is going to come within, just based on where they are from a financial standpoint. I think the biggest thing, and I hate to just keep on comparing it to Houston. I think the biggest thing is like, who are you, right? Like, who are you as a team? Like Houston, we knew if you're going to play them, they're going to try to knock your head off as far as from a defensive identity. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me as far as like how they get better. And, if this group stays intact, which I'm anticipating, except for probably some things, like what's going to be the identity of this group?
Bobby, I got no time to ask you a question, but there's so much more I want to ask you. We got to have you on again at some point in time. Really appreciate you, Bobby, for coming on and spending time with us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bobby. That's Bobby Marks joining us right there. Of course, ESPN NBA front office insider. Really is the perfect guy to talk to through all this because he's done all this.
Love talking to him.
He knows this stuff better than pretty much anybody, just the intricacies of the NBA, CBA, and how to work around and how to navigate this stuff.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.